My agenda runs as follows. First, I want to give you a short overview. Then I move on to the digital ecosystem, mission and benefits, governance, and I present the use case, and finally have a summary, a very short summary and discussion. And all I want to do this in the next 30 minutes, that we have really time if you have any question and discussion and reflections. So let's get cracking then. My first part is the agenda in terms of overview. I would like to outline very shortly what the National Road Office stands for, what is the Liechtenstein Blockchain Act, and also put down a short vision. Liechtenstein. Liechtenstein is the 6th smallest country in the world, and it is an independent state for the last 300 years. It's a very old democracy, so to speak. It nestles, as you can see, between Austria and Switzerland, and also there is a small National Road Office. The National Road Office is acting on behalf of the Principality of Liechtenstein government, its ministry, and with the following tasks and responsibilities: contributing to road safety, mobility, autonomous driving, and, of course, sustainability. Drafting and implementing European Union, Swiss, Liechtenstein policies and laws. Collaborating with stakeholders, government, EU institution, UNECE, industry and society. And we also do issuing driving licensing and making vehicle registration, including the Fürstentum Liechtenstein number plates. Very special ones as they are in black and white. Technical inspections of all types of light, medium and heavy duty vehicles. And by the way, Liechtenstein, this is not for a world championship prize, but it has the highest motorization in Europe with 770 cars per 1,000 capita. So there are a lot, it's a very car and mobility oriented driven country. Now, as far as blockchain technology is concerned, it is Fürstentum Liechtenstein, the Principality of Liechtenstein is one of the first to have a really thorough blockchain act, so a legal act that you can conduct business. The concept of a token container model with trustworthy technology has been developed, and I don't want to elaborate too much here, but I just want to outline it. And this results to conduct business under legal certainty. The whole thing is, of course, supervised by the Financial Market Authority, because you can do a lot of bad things thinking about, for instance, cryptocurrency. But that is not what I'm going to talk about. In actual fact, blockchain is not crypto, and blockchain is not high energy consumption. Blockchain is equals to technology, and that is my theme today, and I want to outline how to utilize this blockchain technology. And one part of it is this very thorough legal framework which I have put up on there, and I just want to outline that there is, for instance, definition of token, of the functions of a token, of token assets, and disposal of token. As I said, I don't want to elaborate on this, but I want to underline that is a legal framework, in the end of the day, that creates trust. From our side, we have a vision. We want to co-create and participate in a 360 vehicle lifecycle management system with blockchain technology, where all relevant information during the life cycle is actually stored of a vehicle. Very important that it is transparent, trustworthy, and verified vehicle history. This is actually one of the most important anchor points, and this underlines also the discussion we had about CMR, or also the green card, the certificate, motor insurance certificate, that it is really verified. And the issue is also, when you have a document, for instance, how do you verify it? Of course, secure, reliable data exchange and customized data ownership, a very, very important and crucial part to have really this secured, the customized data ownership, and I will refer back to that later. And of course, as we already heard this morning and yesterday, the digitalization of customers' citizen process in an own ecosystem, and this by 24/7. So this is the vision. Now, the question is, of course, how can we do this? And I want to move to my next point of the agenda, which is about the digital ecosystem and the mission and the benefits of having one. So I want to outline very shortly the vehicle ecosystem, blockchain architecture, mission, move on to National Road Office digital strategy, and outline the benefit in this chapter. The current situation, buying a car, is very simple. As you have seen, the ecosystem today is about 100 years old, and of course with some updates, but the structure in principle is still the same. Imagine you want to buy a car. Well, you can buy it online, by a dealer or a private importer or an importer. And then latest then you need a road traffic authority to have, for instance, number plates, insurance, and so on and so forth. So there are a lot of actors involved in this, and over time there are a lot of interaction and there is a lot of history. However, the big challenge in this system of today truly is there is a lot of friction among the actors, and by that one of the results is there is a very bad data quality. For instance, sometimes national road authorities, they don't even know the current owner of a vehicle if, for instance, there is a recall from a manufacturer. It's a huge challenge. Or even, for instance, when a car is going to be recycled, respectively scrapped, you don't know, sometimes authority don't even know that it has been scrapped. So, how can the future look like to bring order into the system? And how can this be done? Well, as I outlined already, the answer lies in using blockchain technology. So to speak, a permissioned private blockchain, where distributed ledger technology, short DLT, with a self-sovereign identity, SSSI, is used. I don't want to go into technology details, but I think this identity issue to get even into the chain is one of the most important challenges to address to get into the system. And then you have a distributed ledger technology, which I will come later, because the data is not centralized. That is a very, very important point. It is distributed. All right, so what does this create utilizing this technology? Well, you will have at the end of the day a single point of truth. And blockchain technology enables you to, via smart contract, which is not a contract by itself, it's a technology feature, to have the processes automated. And at the end of the day, this blockchain really creates trust, because whoever is on is authorized, has been authorized and has been checked up to get into the blockchain. And the blockchain members, I will refer later, I talk about the governance. Anyhow, to bring the blockchain alive, Car Dossier Association in Switzerland and Liechtenstein was founded. Later, I will very shortly describe what the members and who the members are, but for the moment, I want to focus on the blockchain architecture and the platform. And you know, we have heard this also a little bit yesterday about CMR. What is then architecture and platform? So you can see it relates a lot to really the general challenges all authorities and all organizations, business have. In our case, secure blockchain for business, it is the technology based on a core platform. So also technology is utilized to create a core, which a core for the ecosystem, an ecosystem core, we could say. This, by the way, a very interesting innovation. This is the public good, so to speak, the digital commons. And I will refer later back, but it's the commons, like Elinor Ostrom has already talked about in the 1990s, government commons, where, by the way, she won even a Nobel Prize for her work. But the digital commons is an extremely interesting concept which to do. However, Of course, I'm talking about there is a public good, and there are many members in the car dossier association. So there is also the private good, and every member in the car dossier association of the ecosystem can put their own apps on it. So there is a kind of a platform for that store, distributed application. It's like apps. So we have, in actual fact, two levels. We have a core and we have a store. This leads us to the mission of to run a digital ecosystem. To create a digital ecosystem for data exchange and to manage cross-company business and governance process throughout Liechtenstein and Switzerland firstly, and then maybe the rest of the European Union and even a wider world. The mission for us is to democratize data access and to become a catalyst for digitalization for all actors in the ecosystem. And the digital ecosystem in the blockchain mobility space is open and jointly developed by all stakeholders. And as I said, I will come later still to the stakeholders. Right, so to contribute is of course another mission of us to e-government and the Liechtenstein digital strategy. Well, so far, so good. What is our digital strategy? And what kind of, I call this menu card, like in the restaurant we have for applications? Well, we want to really digitalize and in the blockchain the importing process, the digital vehicle information, so to speak, the certificate of conformity or the ECOC. We want to make all the vehicle documents digital, even in later years issue a digital number plate and have the possibility on the blockchain to have, for instance, electronic motorway car tax, truck road pricing could be done as well. We will definitely have a digital driver license coming into effect probably mid of next year in Liechtenstein. Full e-digital, and there is exactly the challenge what I say. If you have a e-document, how do you validate the document? And this is definitely a challenge to do, but we have our thoughts and we have also the way to do it. And of course, the other possibilities of the strategy is to do vehicle inspections and also all process token, utilize process token and smart contracts. Now, what are possible benefits for citizens, public and private organization? We can see 4 areas. One of them is looking from a product perspective. So it's, as I said already, it's not only distributed technology, it's also distributed product innovation. Technology actually enables us to tokenize, for instance, vehicle data management, vehicle data and its management, trusted distributed data, and it is definitely international compatible. From an operational efficiency perspective, we can make processes more standardized, automate, compress the processes, and this leads to cost reduction. If we look from a customer perspective, I call this secured customer intimacy. The owner owns his data, and really there is a tailor-made peer-to-peer data transfer to respective partner. I want to underline, and this is very, very important again, when I said the owner owns his data, I will outline that what I mean. It is not in a central database. It's the distributed to the owners of the data, and I may make that clear again, but that is a total different ballgame. And this leads also to customized citizen services. Of course, there is also a new market platform because there is availability of trustful vehicle data, for instance, for buy and sale. This is definitely not the task of a road authority, but this is the task of other stakeholders in the ecosystem if they want to utilize it, even if a customer, a client, a buyer or seller wants to do it. There is market creation to exchange new respective products and services, and new business models to emerge 24/7. So let me now come to the third part of my presentation, the digital ecosystem, the management, and the use really and present a use case. I would just like to elaborate quickly again about the digital commons, then move to distributed culture mindset, because there it needs a complete change in mindset and culture, and also talk about governance to build trust, and then finally move to the use case very shortly. The true unique selling proposition and short USP and innovation of the digital ecosystem is for sure the notion of the digital commons as a disruptive concept for the future. And this is an example of like when you, for instance, in these commons, you own this space and land for the cows, and for instance in Switzerland there are many farmers who can use this. That is the common, and I'm talking about the digital commons, and I'm just outlining that very quickly. So today's member of this digital commons in this car dossier association of the ecosystem are these players and organizations of today. For instance, there is AMAC, is a huge importer and retailer company. There is a leasing company. There are traders like AutoScout, AXA, insurances, bank, finance, importers, manufacturers, and also, let's call it mobility services offers, and also, like you see, National Road Office or Road Office of Canton Aargau, and also the Federal Road Office of Switzerland is also a member of it. And really, this digital commons, what you see here, is a public-private partnership, a non-profit organization, so to speak, which develops the core of the ecosystem. Right, so I said, I talked about this culture and mindset very quickly in the introduction. I said I want to have a point here. It was actually Alfred Chandler who made the famous claim that structure follows strategy. And then came Peter Drucker, a very famous management guy, saying, but culture eats strategy for breakfast. So, considering these two wise management, I would call it gurus, we can point out here, and in a recent article in the Harvard Business Review, it said the AI-powered organization, the main challenge isn't technology, it's culture. And what I want to outline here, for the blockchain ecosystem to function, a true distributed culture mindset is needed. So it's not anymore, it's me, it's our organization, it's us, really, which needs to change. And if you want to develop a strategy, a future ecosystem strategy, you have to have that mindset, so to speak. So this brings me to the point of why the governance is truly also important. It's not also a culture and mindset, but of course we need trust. And trust is safeguarded by the governance value chain, I call it, where of course there is the association, there are the ecosystem members, there is the General Assembly and board, and management and team, and of course all ecosystem partners. But they have to adhere to the bylaws of the legal body. And the very most important issue is, as you can see here, is that there is a data protection committee to really ensure that within the blockchain the trust is there. Because how can it be there? Trust in the blockchain must be safeguarded. And for the data rights management of each individual, node, and relation there is. And actually the blockchain technology Corda generates a trust anchor key and an identity key. Anyhow, the thing is to protect this blockchain ecosystem, digital ecosystem, and therefore there is a code of ecosystem. And the other issue is to enforce it. You know, the one thing is to say, yeah, we would like to do it like this. The other is, well, how do we do it? And therefore the Data Protection Committee plays a very, very important part here to enforce this data rights that it's safeguarded. Now, I have bothered you a lot with this kind of, let's call it blockchain and technology and architecture. I would like to outline now very shortly, before I come to the use case, the blockchain, how it could functions in a very practical example where general data protection regulation is adhered to and the data privacy management is really in place. Imagine you buy a car. If you do this in the blockchain, you say, you know, the dealer or whoever the other participants are in the blockchain too, before you come into the blockchain, the vehicle owner needs an SSI, a self-sovereign identity, which is given that he is let's call it, he is compliant to the code of Ecoysstem, and he does this really. So let's say he wants to go to buy a car, he goes to a dealer, so there is a sales coming in place, and of course in this intersection there are the sales data of the owner and the dealer. And then he needs insurance, so he goes to insurance. We have just heard it, even if you need international insurance, he goes to insurance and there will be an insurance certificate issued. So again, we have another intersection of data. But as you can see, this data belongs to the owner and this too, but it belongs also to insurance from an insurance perspective and to the dealer from this part, if you follow me what I try to say. So you go to the road authority, which is connected also to the federal, let's call it administration, road traffic organization in Switzerland, as others too. And here comes the centralized system. Of course, there are the data for the homologation, and there is the certificate of conformity, which is right now in the intersection of these two. So the manufacturer and importer has, of course, COC2. He shares it with the dealer. And the dealer can share it, or the importer, of course, with the vehicle owner. And the vehicle owner can share it if he comes to the road traffic authority with the road traffic authority. So if he wants to register a car and to underline the concept of really the blockchain technology and the distributed technology, I want to underline here very clearly, this information is only the information of the vehicle owner. Of course, there is some part of it is here too, and some part is here too, but the issue is he is the owner of his own data, as is this, let's call it, as our manufacturing importers. I think you have understood what I try to outline, that this is all distributed and the data belongs to the owner as such and is protected as such and is distributed, because this is the way how distributed technology works. Now, I have spent, I said, the issue here is just to summarize a new data concept with respective data ownership. Right. I would come very close to the end actually and really present you an actual temporary registration certificate process, which is currently in development and released by November this year for the road traffic authorities and for dealers and customers who want to participate here. So the actual registration process for buying a car is a customer buys a new car and sells his old one, and he goes, of course, to the dealership. The dealer, if he has bought this, calls the insurance or sends a mail, and the insurance company will type manually an application if transmitted by mail or by phone. And it is then transmitted to the Swiss clearing system of an insurance and to the federal systems back to the road traffic authorities. What the dealer then has to do, he has to make a download on today's website to download a form, prints it, actually fills it in, that the customer today has to sign manually and change, and customer signs this form, and manually, of course, the number plate changes to a new car. Then the dealer has to send these documents by email or by mail to the road traffic authority, and the road traffic authority sends the document registration. So in the end, and it confirms, the road traffic organization confirms the registration documents for a new car or a customer. This is just an example actually how the processes, and there are many, of course, in many other areas, a lot of paperwork is shifted here and there, and this is what is actually the let's call it the complicated and really paper-driven process of today. How will it look like? And this takes several hours to days. How can this look like in a new with the blockchain? As I outlined, of course, in the digital ecosystem, the dealer is registered and he has a node. And also the insurance company, if he wants to participate in the digital ecosystem, has a node. And of course, the car dossier in this case has a node for the registry. And road traffic authorities, whoever wants to be in Switzerland, for instance, there are 26, can have a node too, as we do. So, customer buys a new car and sells his old car. Dealer requests car ID from car dossier registry because the car is registered. Dealer transmit request to insurance with a car ID reference. Insurance receives request and automatically starts compliance process. It does it really automatically. Insurance compliance process decides automatically about insurance and sends status back within a few seconds. Dealer sends request for registration with the car ID, and as he has now got the insurance, RTA confirms within a few seconds, and the dealer generates e-form, customer signs it digitally, number plates to a new car. So this is really actually the revolution in terms of, and the breakthrough. In the end, the RTA sends a new car registration document to customer by mail, and we are talking now about processing time of a few minutes and not anymore. And this is one of the applications, ladies and gentlemen, which will be in place, and of course further to follow. So let me come to just some other thoughts. What other, let's call it, blockchain use cases could be considered? As our objective is in the coming years to create more use cases, we have been thought about to bring the electronic certificate of conformity into the blockchain, to have we have a process of a repair confirmation procedure when the car has not been successfully passed the test. He can go to a garage to do it, and there is then confirmation procedure that could be put in the blockchain. There is definitely the complete vehicle registration process. There is the vehicle inspection management, and definitely all documents or applications could be put into the blockchain and could be utilized. Right. Now, I promised about 30 minutes. We are doing not too bad, as I can see. So I want to give, when you go to McDonald's, you get something to take away if you take away for on the go. So I want to give you something to also to give away, and I give you 3 takeaway messages from my side. The first one is blockchain technology is an enabler, true enabler for innovation. We see, and we have entered a new area of this public-private partnership. I mean, Liechtenstein alone can never ever do this. There is neither the resources, nor the money, nor the power, nor the intelligence. It's not. And so, as we have seen, we have 25 other public and private partnerships. There are even universities following this through too, of Lucerne, and there was University of Zurich involved. So this private-public partnership gives a lot of power, a lot of ideas, and as I'm talking about, it is also not for profit. It is really to have this up and running and to bring everybody into this digital ecosystem, to live, so to speak, this digital commons. I know, that you could be challenged. There is also the tragedy of the commons, but of course, this is what we have to avoid. We have really to focus and to get to a distributed culture mindset. Doing so, we can co-create the regulatory authority and businesses a lot of applications for the future. The second takeaway message is actually digital ecosystem as a new platform. So the new concept, this is a new concept of digital vehicle and data management. It is definitely going to be fast, trustful, peer-to-peer services and in a 24/7 mode. And the third takeaway message is actually for us, this is a major step towards Liechtenstein digital strategy. It's for us e-government in practice. And as I'm saying, we are on the start. It will take still a long way, but we are really trying to make this alive and make this happen. End of the day, also to have really the citizens to profit from. And it's for us also, as a small national road office, we have a lighthouse project for this, let's say, supported by the government of Liechtenstein. So therefore, we are driving this forward into the future. So, my last point before coming to the discussion and reflection really is about this is truly an innovative vehicle lifecycle management as a blockchain breakthrough. And I want to say it's a blueprint for other future digital ecosystems to come. And by that, thanks very much for your attention, and thank you. And I look forward to your reflections and maybe questions you might have.